XL 92.5 FM.
Well, the final Thursday in March brings us opening day in Major League Baseball in the Sweet 16. How cool is that? What more could you ask for you football-only people? Hoops, basketball, so much going on. But with that said, we begin with football because this is a one-horse town, and I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. No place I'd rather be than here at Hogan Road. As a matter of fact, yesterday I had an author on, John Nagelsky. We talked some baseball, and I didn't get even one of the obligatory, Ballou, please talk football. And that's why I love this audience. It was very informative. I thought it was just an incredible opportunity to hear from John Nagelsky and his book that he has recently put together. I think people enjoyed it. There still are a lot of Major League Baseball fans out there, some born and raised right here in town that probably swing the way of the Atlanta Braves. Never really have gotten a sense that there are a lot of Tampa Bay Ray fans, okay? Next to zero Miami Marlin fans, but that's kind of common. I mean, what goes on with the Orlando Magic? Maybe some. Maybe the Miami Heat, a couple, if they're winning, the Florida Panthers. I think Tampa Bay, I think the Lightning, because of their recent success, I think there are hockey birds down here, or maybe those who learned to love that outstanding game, who have perhaps adopted that team. But I would still say it's probably Atlanta. It's probably the Braves, but you've got so many other people who want to live here in Jacksonville. They come from other parts of the country. They love baseball. A ton going on right now. We'll get you updated on that as well. Pat Kennedy is 20 minutes away. We are going to take a look at the Gators and the Terrapins coming up tonight at 7:35. Florida's favored by 6.5. The total 157.5. I got a couple of interesting trends on this game if you're going to play it. Remember, Florida has not covered in the first and or second round, but who cares? It's about survival and advancement, right? That's what it's all about. Survive and advance, and they got to win 4 games. They're a big-time favorite tonight, and we'll get into that with former Florida State head coach Pat Kennedy. However, 4 weeks from tonight is the NFL draft, and I just think this offseason has been, honestly, spectacular. And you know, when you have been in this business as long as I've been in it, I think the rule of thumb and the most important thing that you learn, and I did so back in 1993, is that you can never come to the table with a feeling that there's nothing going on. It's the dog days. Oh, nothing's I mean, if that's your way that you're going to approach this, you shouldn't be in it. Because every day should be Mickey Mantle. Every day should be Barry Sanders. Every day should be Wayne Gretzky. You should have unlimited amounts of stuff to talk to that hopefully engages your audience and entertains your audience. I have to say, this year, though, has been the exception to the rule. It has been so plentiful. It has been just one thing after another. I can't believe we're waving goodbye to March. And April is going to be just as spectacular. Headed up with those 2 events, right? The NFL draft and, of course, the Masters. Jim Nantz announced yesterday that he's going to work through 2036. Can you imagine that in the year 2025? So I'll work through 2036. It'll be the 100th Masters. It'll be my 51st, and then that's it. I'll walk away into the sunset. But, you know, April fully engulfed then will be the Major League Baseball season. And also, we will be heading towards the playoffs in both the NHL and the NBA. But this year, to me, has been one of the most enjoyable post-Jaguar seasons that I can ever remember. And that's rare to say considering they won 4 football games. But if you were just to really check the temperature of Duval and remember how it was on Black Monday when Doug Peterson was fired and Trent Baalke was not. And it was like an episode of The Walking Dead here in town. People were still alive, technically, but they were zombies. There was no emotion. There was like, you've got to be kidding me. What did I just hear Shad Khan say? And it was lifeless. It was. It was The Walking Dead. It took 2.5 weeks. He was fired, and then everyone came to life. And just look at what's going on. We're 4 weeks from the draft. And you bump into a Jaguars fan, no matter where you are, there is excitement. There is a feeling that this thing is finally going to get fixed for the better. They're getting rid of that cloud over the Miller Electric Center. They're just basically looking at that roster, and they're saying, see ya. And they're saying see ya for a variety of reasons. Number one, it wasn't a great roster. And even though Trent Baalke told Shad Khan a year ago this is the greatest roster in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars, it was anything but. I also think they got rid of attitude. I think they got rid of those who accepted losing, and they've said goodbye. 10 new free agents, 10 draft picks beginning in 4 Thursdays, and more to come as well. That is great news. We've seen a transition as far as number 5, right? Forever, it's been Mason Graham. And if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but I will have trends for you here on the Gators matchup in just a minute. I'm not a betting man, but I'm a fan of the game. I'm a fan of gaming. I mean, you pros out there, not you folks who just get out of the office and you call your bookie and like, yeah, give me the Gators. Let me get down a couple hunch, -6.5, -7. I'm not talking about you people. You folks do what you want to do, have a good time. I'm talking about sharps. I'm talking about professionals. I'm talking about those who have put absolutely all of their time and effort. It's an investment, right? Forget Bitcoin. Forget Litecoin. Forget, what is it? Let me look here because that has just been falling apart as of late. Come on, Ballou. You got these Jimmy Dean fingers. Is it Ethereum or Ethereum or I don't know how you say it. I know it's gone down significantly. Peep, Mogcoin, Bitcoin Cash, XRP. I mean, you can play that. You can play stocks, right? You can do all that stuff and just kind of trust things that maybe you do trust. I don't know how you can trust cryptocurrency at this point. What do we know about it? But those do trust gaming. They trust what is going to happen tonight in this matchup between Florida and Maryland. Again, and if you're one of those, I got some trends here that I'm going to share with you in a couple of minutes, and then we'll get to Pat Kennedy on this as well in our very first hour. But I do want to stay with football. As I said, Mason Graham has been the conventional favorite. We've seen the recent, really, explosion of Travis Hunter. To me, it's a no-brainer. I'm taking Travis Hunter if he's available. I think there's a lot of really good football players. In this year's draft, we've been told that grades for first-rounders are anywhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 13. We also heard earlier this week, and it's been kicked around a little bit, that there's not that much of a difference talent-wise from 20 to 80, which just blows me away. I cannot believe the range there. 60 NFL prospects. It's going to make for, I think, one of the most interesting NFL drafts that we've ever seen, because we're going to have some clubs that are going to have players ranked early in the second round, late in the first round, where another team may have them in the third round, and vice versa. You know, when you grade the draft, and everyone goes and says, you know, who did well and who didn't do well, and it's too early to tell because you got to let a couple of years go by. But you'll talk about teams that reached. I think there's going to be more of that this year because the ranking of these prospects is really going to differ with each and every one of the 32 teams. But Abdul Carter worked out today. Now, he's been one that gets mentioned every once in a while. I've just never seen it. I've never seen a situation yet where he is going to be able to fall to number 5. I can obviously see Mason Graham being there at 5. And I can even see Travis Hunter falling to number 5. I haven't bought in to Abdul Carter yet. I got to believe Cleveland or New York or New England, one of those 3 teams at 2, 3, and 4 is going to end up drafting him. Their pro day is tomorrow. That is in Happy Valley. Abdul Carter, not going to work out. Abdul Carter did not work out at the Combine. There were reports of an injury, maybe even the possibility of a surgery. If you remember the initial report that came out of Indianapolis, that was then changed, right? And whatever it is, he is not going to showcase any of his abilities once again, or any of his workout ability, whether it's on the field as far as timing or any other sort of athleticism. He's just going to allow the folks to test and track his tape and say, this is what I did on game day. This is what I did on Saturday. That is my resume. There is a little bit of talk through Rosenhaus saying that he may have a private workout or a personal workout for NFL teams within the next 28 days. But he's not going to work out at Penn State tomorrow. A little bit disappointed by that. I want these top guys to work out. I want to get a feel for them, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And this, to me, was somewhat disappointing. I don't think it's going to have any effect, however, on the 3 teams, 2, 3, and 4 ahead of Jacksonville. I think they believe that they're going to get this guy, or they are going to go in a different direction. But again, I would be absolutely shocked if Abdul Carter is there for Jacksonville at 5. I do not feel that way about Hunter, and I do not feel that way about Graham. I think one and possibly both could be there coming up on 4 Thursdays. The Gators have put together a 26-10 record this year against the spread. They are 0-2 against the spread, however, in the NCAA college basketball tournament. Florida's 17-8 against the spread this season when playing at least as a 6.5-point favorite. Okay? Boy, they had 25 matchups this year where they were favored by a touchdown. That's insane. And again, they've done a nice job covering that at 17-8. Again, haven't been able to do it so far in the tournament. The Gators, 20 out of their 36 games have gone over the point total. Tonight's point total is 157.5 points here against Maryland. The Gators are 29-2 in games that they were listed as money line favorites. Okay, that's a 93.5% winning percentage. That is absolutely spectacular. Money line tonight, Florida minus 275. If you don't know what that means, you got to lay $275 to win 100. If you're going to take the Maryland Terrapins and you lay 100, you would win back $221. So that is some of the latest numbers as we get closer to this matchup, which is coming up in about an hour and 30 minutes. And they call them the Crab Five at Maryland. And the similarity that the Terrapins have with the Gators is that they both struggled in their second game. They both found a way to win in their second game. Gator fans, you remember what you did. You came from behind. Clayton Jr. made those huge three-pointers. You got offensive rebounds off of missed free throws. Same thing here for Maryland. They really struggled. They got a last-second shot and a game winner against Colorado State. As a matter of fact, you can make the case that that has been the most dazzling or most sensational last-second finish that we've seen so far in the NCAA tournament. It hasn't been a classic tournament, right? For the first time since we went to 64 teams back in 1985, it's only power conferences. There are no Cinderellas. Cinderella's dead. There's no mid-majors. There's no team that came from here and snuck up. No. I mean, you've got, 7 schools from the SEC, quite a few from the Big Ten, quite a few from the Big 12. You got 1 from the Atlantic Coast Conference. You have 16 teams that are all from the power conferences. This is not what the NCAA tournament is all about. There is also, get this, only 3 teams, that is Duke, Michigan State, and Purdue, who have at least 3 starters who began their career at that respected school. That is the NIL. I know most of the conversation is talked about with football because this is a football city. But look at basketball. And look at the Gators. Look at what they've done with the transfer portal. Look at all I think it's up to 700 names have already been added.
1,200.
Is it gone to 1,200?
Yeah, 1,200 the other day.
Oh, my God. I thought the last I saw was 700. I was going to say that was a few days ago. It's up to 1,200?
Yeah, it was 700, then 900, and then I seen 12 a couple days ago. Insane.
I mean, I'm going to ask Pat Kennedy about this, right? Pat Kennedy went out and got a guy like Sam Cassell. I'm trying to remember exactly where he got him from, but obviously recruited Charlie Ward and James Collins out of Jacksonville and Charlie Graham and Bobby Sura had one other offer. It was Duquesne. He went to Pennsylvania and got him. But just how much of a headache it would be. And again, most of the conversation is we're so aware of the transfer portal in football, but what does this do? That's an 85-man roster plus. What does this do to such a small roster in college basketball? Hey, it hasn't affected ratings. They're up. People still love the game. I think I'm fair to say this, even with you Gator fans. It'll never compare to the 04s, right? It'll never be like those championships because you just got to know these guys. They're transfers. They're not Billy Donovan going out, recruiting them, bringing them in. You watch them evolve. You watch them develop. I think I know we're in an era where it's a lot more about the front of the jersey than the names on the back of the jersey. That's just where we are, sports related. And that certainly is the case in college basketball as well. Are you dealing with itchy eyes? Let's bring in the good folks from Shmunez Vision. They help bring in the program each and every night. You may have an allergy. Why not get yourself checked out? If you're digging in your eyes right now and you're rubbing them, that's bad news. And that's all I can tell you about that. Don't do it. Don't sleep in your contacts. If the pollen is driving you crazy, if something out there is driving you nuts, Shmunez Vision. Make an appointment today. Go see the experts. They'll tell you straight up by looking at you, yes, you have an allergy, or no, it's something else. This is what it may be. It's why they're the best around here. You don't hear people talking about things like this because it's seasonal. It's going to come and it's going to go. But if it's bothering you right now, just go to Shmunez Vision. Also, laser eye surgery. More than 30 years worth of experience. If you bring in Dr. John Hunt, Dr. Neil Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, you can get all of their testimonials on Instagram at Shmunez Vision. Also, check them out online at Shmunez Vision. All right, plenty of football coming up tonight. The latest on Major League Baseball coming up tonight. We start, however, with the Sweet 16. Did the Gators advance to the Elite Eight? Let's bring in former Florida State head coach, my buddy Pat Kennedy. He joins us next as we go into the night.
Hey, I know if you give me time, baby, we can do whatever we want. Look past left prong. Oh, ready?
I'm David Garrard on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Get more Gators with Dan Hickett and me, Frank Frangie, on all things Gators on 1010XL Gators Podcast, with new episodes every Monday, brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, wherever you find podcasts, and at 1010XL.com.
Hi, it's Rick Ballou. I hope you'll join me and some former NFL players for an incredible event at the end of March, the Lone Warrior Foundation 2025 Champions of Hope Charity Golf and Tennis Challenge. March 31st at Marsh Landing will support single-parent families in their fight against cancer. An opportunity to win sensational prizes, but more importantly, we will bring meaningful hope and support to the lives of families affected. To sign up, go to LoneWarriorFoundation.com. That's LoneWarriorFoundation.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Breyer, president of Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
And I'm Zach Breyer. When my dad started in business in 1990, I wasn't even born yet.
That's true. And after 35 years and nearly 20,000 satisfied customers, we literally have a showroom in every neighborhood.
So whether you need more outdoor living space with a glass or screen enclosure, or you're looking to transform your home with new flooring, we've got you covered.
Visit our websites, or better yet, do yourself a favor and stop by one of our showrooms on Phillips Highway to experience the Lifetime difference and receive 20% off your purchase now through March.
Lifetime Enclosures.
E.T. here, and spring in Clay County means one thing: the award-winning Clay County Fair. It's more than just rides and a concert, it's an experience. Savor the flavors of classic fair treats, explore family-friendly attractions, and enjoy a perfect mix of small-town charm and big-time fun. Plan your trip with Explore Clay County Tourism and turn your visit into a getaway. Find the best places to stay, eat, and explore at exploreclay.com. And don't forget to share your fair adventures with #ExploreClay.
Denny Thompson here. You gotta check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 US Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mack and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, I hope you'll join me Monday. It's last call. It is. If you want to be a huge part of the Lone Warrior Foundation 2025 Champions of Hope Charity Golf Challenge, it is going to be sensational. March 31st. That'll be at Marsh Landing. Aaron Beasley, Marcus Stroud, among other former NFL players will be out there. Cleo Lemon. And we're going to support single-parent families, their fight against cancer. Wait till you see these prizes. They are absolutely spectacular, but more importantly, will bring meaningful hope and support to the lives of the families affected. Go to lonewarriorfoundation.com. You have until tomorrow at 3 o'clock. They still will take a couple of foursomes here. If you're a business owner, you can still sponsor a whole. lonewarriorfoundation.com. Let's bring in my buddy Pat Kennedy. He had a very successful career at Florida State, of course, went on to DePaul, Montana, and Towson as well. Began his college basketball days at Iona, and he is back in Tallahassee. He joins Rick Ballou. Pat, always a pleasure.
Hey, Rick, great to be with you, buddy. Great time of the year.
Yeah, it really is. What do you make so far of this tournament? You know, Cinderella and mid-majors and small conference teams have always stood out traditionally in this tournament. That's not the case this year. 16 power conference teams remaining. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's just a sign of the future. I think, in talking to a lot of coaches around the country, that the NIL is going to really divide things out. Everyone's wondering why the Southeastern Conference has got so many teams there. And John Calipari said it. They're spending the most money. Mm-hmm. And the Southeastern Conference will spend the most money. They're used to spending big money on athletics. It used to just be football, but now they've seen the benefit to basketball as well. So the power conferences, and if the Big East goes with the ACC, you know, the Big Ten and the Big 12, if they ever came together, I mean, we could end up with just 4 conferences around the country.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, we had St. Peter's. And we had FDU, and we had UMBC, who beat Virginia. So in the most recent years, it's interesting you bring this up, Rick. We had some of the most major upsets in the history of the NCAA tournament. So we got even more used to saying, well, you know, UMBC beating Virginia, and obviously FDU beating Purdue. That was a huge one. So this year we didn't have any of those.
Yeah.
So this is a chalk tournament for sure.
You know, certainly since this tournament was formed and it became a 64-team tournament back in 1985, what we would see is some of these smaller conference teams is they would have fourth-year juniors and fifth-year seniors, and they would be a part of the program for so long that they got better and better year after year. I was blown away to see that there's only 3 teams, Duke, Michigan State, and Purdue, that have 3 starters who actually began their careers at that school, are still playing at that school.
You're going to need a real scorecard in the future, right? There's like over 1,000 kids in the portal right now, over 1,000 kids. And there'll be a lot more as time goes on and the tournament winds down. So to follow the kids at the schools is going to be extremely difficult. I'm sure, you know, like here at Florida State, I'm in Tallahassee, the people here will be very much on who we get in all of the sports, men and women's basketball, football, obviously, even soccer for that matter.
Yeah.
Who are we getting out of the portal? So your local fans will have a clear understanding of who you're getting in out of the portal. But other fans in other states are going to have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Carolina people knew that we had Charlie Ward and Sam Cassell and Bobby Serra, they knew what to expect when the Noles came to town. Now they're going to have no idea what the new coach has in store for them. So it makes it difficult for preparation, but makes it even more difficult for the fans because they're not going to have anything to follow.
All right, final thought from Pat Kennedy until we get to the Gators and the Terrapins playing tonight at 7:39. Can you imagine how different, how tough this must be? I knew your players really well, and they're young adults, and young adults are moody, and young adults can be influenced in so many different ways. How hard do you believe it is on coaches today to keep stability within a program?
Well, it's going to be very hard, but I have news for all coaches around the country. It's not changing. So you better come up with a formula and a philosophy. I heard Jim Boeheim say some great things about this. Stop complaining about it. Figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. What's going to be your formula? Can you sell a kid on the fact that your player development program is so much better than somebody else? You can take them from a fifth-round draft choice to a first-round draft choice. There's going to be different new angles of how to sell yourself and your program. And recruiting is going to be different because in some cases it's just going to purely be money. In other cases, it's going to be money, relationship with the coaches, how you're setting up your future plans. If I was coaching right now, those would be the three things I would zero in on.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting because there's going to be kids flip-flopping all over the country. I saw where Florida State's top female player, who's the leading scorer in the country, is now looking to transfer. And she loves the coach. She said in the newspaper today here, that she loves the head coach.
Wow.
So, what a curveball that is if you're the head coach.
Tonight's game here, two teams you were very familiar with during your coaching days in Tallahassee. Of course, Maryland was part of the ACC then. Remember, they had the top pick in the draft with Joe Smith and obviously the rival with Florida. Both teams coming off a scare. Both teams did not play well in round two. Guys like me will make a big deal about that and say in the case of Florida, they got their scare. Okay, they'll be ready. Is that nonsense, or is there some truth to that coming from behind in a big game the way they did to win it may end up being the difference for them with 4 left to play?
No, absolutely the truth. If you just study the tournament, there's been a lot of teams that have won the national championship. There have been a lot of teams that have gotten to the Final Four and the final day that had a jolt along the way. But I think Florida at the end showed their strength. Obviously, Walter Clayton Jr., the best guard in the country, when he pulled up on the right-hand side with about 4 minutes to go and nailed that three-point shot, it was just like him saying, listen, I've got this under control. Don't worry, we're going to continue to advance. So I still love Florida. I think that game is going to certainly help. You got to remember, too, UConn was able to bring it back and make it a 2-point game. That could have been a 10-point game just as easily. But UConn did, in fact, play them tough. All of Danny Hurley's teams are going to be fighters, and they're going to play you right to the end. So I think that was a good thing for Florida because their coach can now really zero in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Rick, Maryland's good. Now, if Maryland doesn't make 3-point shots, they're liable to get hammered. But Maryland, their 2 inside kids, obviously Queen, who made the last shot, is legitimate. He reminds me of Zach Randolph, who played years back.
Mm-hmm.
He also has a teammate, Reese, who's also 6'10", the big lefty. So, you got to deal with 2 quality frontline guys. Now, if their guards don't make shots, then it doesn't help the big guys. If the guards make some shots and they force the Florida defense to stretch out, Maryland will be right in this game.
Pat, everyone talks about shortening the bench once you get into the tournament, but, they have the Crab 5, and that's it. They have no bench presence where Florida can roll out 9 guys.
Yeah, and I will say one thing, too. Both terrific young coaches. I love Kevin Willard, the head coach at Maryland. He was the head coach at Iona, where I had coached, and Jimmy Valvano had coached. Kevin then went on to Seton Hall and really proved his worth as a coach. His father, Ralph Willard, was a longtime Rick Pitino assistant at Louisville and was the head coach at Pittsburgh for 4 or 5 years. So Kevin Willard's got a tremendous coaching background. And obviously, I say young man. The young man at Florida has just done an incredible job. And in my opinion, he's the coach of the year. I know a lot of them haven't come out yet. You got lot of guys you can look at, obviously, as Coach of the Year. But I just love the job that's been done at the University of Florida.
We've heard forever. Final moment with Pat Kennedy, former head coach of Florida State. Tonight, the Gators do play against the Maryland Terrapins. That'll be at 7:39. We've heard forever that it's a guards tournament. I don't know if you believe that or not. You probably did when you had Charlie, Bobby, and Sammy Cassell. But Florida was 5 of 13 from the field in their second round victory. Their guards took 50 shots in that game. Is that a concern heading into tonight's matchup?
Yeah, you can still get fool's gold. And whenever you start leaning on that, I used to always say to our guys at halftime, we're just simply putting up too many threes. Not that you don't think you can't turn the corner and start making some of them, but you should have a better chance to make some twos. And, in terms of the guard play, it's essential that you have really good guard play. But the most important thing is having balance. Unless you have a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or a Bill Walton type center. But think about it, Rick. When was the last time we saw one of those guys?
Been a little while, yeah.
Yeah, so the balance is the key. And that's what I love about Florida, for example. Their big guys run the floor, catch the ball, shoot the ball, and do everything that you want a small or big forward to do. So when I look at Florida, I don't see just a particular center. I see tremendous balance inside and outside. That's why, and they obviously have some depth. If they're playing their normal game, and I was able to watch Florida a lot more living down here now, it's not because I'm just here and I'm saying that. Florida is, in my estimation, better than Duke. So I think Florida is clearly the best team. If I was a betting man, which I am not, as you well know.
Yep.
But, to me, Florida is still the best team in college basketball.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people agree with that. If they can, just keep things rolling, they could be headed towards another national championship. Pat Kennedy went 2-0-2 and 131 during his days at Florida State. Took him to an Elite Eight and a Sweet 16. And it's always good to catch up with him, both here and our days together in Chicago, which were pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely, Rick. I always appreciate the quality work you did. You're always prepared, always ready to roll. So Jacksonville is very fortunate.
Pat, always a lot of fun. Thank you. Hopefully we'll do it again before the end of the season, and appreciate your time.
Absolutely, Rick. Be well, buddy.
There he goes, Pat Kennedy. Always a lot of fun to catch up with Pat Kennedy. Really liked him an awful lot when he was at Florida State. And then, he went to DePaul in the, I think it was the 97-98 season. And I went to Chicago right after the 2000 AFC Championship game lost to Tennessee. And, of course, DePaul right there in the city of Chicago. But he did work with us during college basketball around the NCAA tournament. I remember one year, it was 2001. Florida was in the Final Four in 2001. I think it was Lon Kruger in Florida, and it was in Indianapolis. And we did a radio show from a restaurant bar. It was the first Final Four I'd ever been to. And Pat Kennedy sat with us. I think we had 63 of the 64 coaches on with us. You name it. P.J. Carlissimo, Coach K, Roy Williams, Dean Smith, Jim Boeheim, Tom Izzo. Jerry Tarkane. It didn't matter. Everyone loved Pat Kennedy, respected Pat Kennedy. And I did it there with Michael DeCourcy, who's still one of the great college basketball writers in America, but myself and Pat Kennedy. And always a really good guy. And so anyway, you just heard him say it. He thinks if Florida plays their game, they're the best team in America. Better than Duke. First things first, got to get it done tonight against the Crab Five. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of which, what about the Blue Crab House? My goodness, man. What is it, a Wednesday night? I mean, there's no place I'd rather be than right here. But the Blue Crab House on a Thursday night has $3 drafts, $4 wells, or $4 wines and $5 wells. And they're open tonight until 9 o'clock. So what a great place to go and get yourself some crabs and sit back and enjoy that basketball game coming up at around 7:39 tonight between Florida and Maryland. All right, you want to react to that? Best way to do it is our text line. That is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Welcome to those watching on YouTube. Into the Night, 1010XL, and you can get me on Twitter at Ballou1010XL.
Putting some paint on your quarter panel.
All the way up against the wall. There's still 3.
This Sunday at Martinsville.
They both spin out.
NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
It's a new year with new goals, but let's face it, not all resolutions are easy to keep. Maybe you promised yourself you'd eat healthier, but pizza still seems like a better idea. Or you said you'd read more, but your favorite show just launched a new season. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, we can help you keep your New Year's resolution. We offer the biggest selection, best prices, and the easiest car buying experience. Let's make a resolution to visit Beaver Toyota or Beaver Chevrolet, where we'll wow you with a new ride for the new year.
An ACL tear can be a devastating injury with prolonged pain and rehabilitation. Hi, I'm Dr. George Bari. I'm a sports medicine orthopedic surgeon who grew up right here in Jacksonville and then went on to train with the world-renowned Dr. James Andrews. At Bari Orthopedics, we use the most current techniques to get you back in the field with less pain and quicker rehabilitation. We treat all types of sports injuries with the newest techniques available. Please call us for consultation or visit BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 15% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On March 27, 2000, at the PGA Players Championship at Sawgrass, former 1983 champion Hal Sutton leads wire-to-wire to win by a stroke ahead of runner-up Tiger Woods.
E to the T here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find the scratch kitchen that comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Come on, somebody.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Your tax refund is here. Why not invest in your home? Superior Fence and Rail helps you build value with beautiful, durable fences that boost your home security, privacy, and curb appeal. With expert installation and financing options, turning your yard into an outdoor oasis is easier than ever. Reinvest in your home today with Superior Fence and Rail.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Mosquito season is upon us, but don't let them take over. The secret to a bite-free yard is starting today with Kingfish Pest Control. Their 3-step mosquito defense process stops them before they can spread. Eliminate breeding areas, build a protective barrier around your yard, and monthly treatments to keep them away all season long. The earlier you start, the fewer mosquitoes you'll have to fight. Don't let those suckers ruin your outdoor fun. Call Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. The showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Pick it here for Bow 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Pick in here, beat the spring cleaning rush, and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified, starting at $53. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
If you can be quiet for 20 hours, I'll give you 20 grand. That's some quick cash. $20,000. Imagine that. Florida minus 6.5, maybe minus 7. Hey, I just looked it up. It was actually 2,000 when Florida was in that Final Four. So I'd only been in Chicago for a few months, and took that trip over. It's about a 4-hour drive from Chicago to Indianapolis. Of course, I've been to Indianapolis now more times than I care to admit. I think it's a neat little downtown. I've been to many Jaguars games there, but I've been in combines there, but they really do the Final Four well. But that was 2000 when Michigan State beat Florida, and it was UNC in Wisconsin. I remember we had great seats, and I was not in the actual media section. I was a fan sitting with a couple of other co-workers, and Stuart Scott walked down, the late Stuart Scott, who was a UNC grad. And like hundreds and hundreds started singing the ESPN theme song. And I always thought that was kind of cool. That was back when ESPN was cool. That was back when Sports Center was cool. I mean, Stuart Scott was cool, right? They had some really good characters and some really good professionals back in the day. I don't even watch ESPN anymore. You realize they're going to blow off baseball after this year, Dylan. I never go to ESPN unless a game is on. I don't know if I'll ever end up there outside of, I guess, I don't even know. Does Monday Night Football go on there? Is it ABC?
Yep.
Heck, I don't even know now with streaming.
They split it now, so you can get it on ABC or ESPN. ESPN's just for SEC with college football, Monday Night Football. They have one playoff game now in the NFL. They added that recently. They're going to get the Super Bowl, or ABC's going to get the Super Bowl in the near future. But yeah, I mean, your crowd is the last one that really goes, to ESPN for programming. All of my friends, I would say 35 and under, maybe 40 and under, they go to YouTube if they want sports content for podcasts and all that. So it's tough, man. It's tough for them.
It is tough because, I don't even know where to find games anymore. You go streaming and it pops up and you point and you click and then you end up there. But it's You know, it's not like the old days. And ESPN, I mean, I couldn't believe they lost hockey. And now they're going to lose baseball after 35 years. Again, there are casual sports fans who have busy lives, who get up with their wife and get the kids to school and go work all day and then come back and pick up the kids, and maybe they have athletics or gymnastics or whatever it is that they may do, karate. I don't know. I'm just thinking of what it was when I was a dad during those years. And then finally they wind down after dinner, and what do? They plop on the Lazy Boy, and they put on ESPN. Well, if you put on ESPN and there's a baseball game on or there's a hockey game on, you may stick around and watch it. But if you're a casual sports fan and now you're told you got to go look for those games,
another sport
not going to happen.
Another sport's NASCAR. I mean, NASCAR exploded with ESPN in the 90s, and they're not with them anymore.
What are they doing? I mean, it seems like they've become more, talk show related, television point here, and then the ultimate contrarian to, regardless of what point is made, we're going to disagree with you. And I get it. A lot of people like that. I like that at times, but I never planned on being, I can't stand ESPN. I'll never watch it anymore. I never watch ESPN unless there's a game on.
No, it's just the hot takes, and it's just guys screaming at each other. And I mean, we saw yesterday LeBron going on McAfee's show, which was a direct shot at Stephen A. And it feels like an episode of The Real Housewives of, just them going back and forth. And ESPN's went all in on the NFL, college football, and the NBA. And they just talk about those three things in a cycle. And that's really about it.
Baseball tonight, SportsCenter and baseball tonight were a can't miss for me for decades. And I'm talking about, when you had Carl Ravitch and Peter Gammons and John Kruk and Harold Reynolds. I mean, that was such a good show. The highlights, the breakdowns, the second guessing, it was so captivating. It was so great for a baseball fan. I felt the same way about the old school college football game day. I cannot remember the last time I've watched a college football game day, man. It's a carnival act. It's not what it once was. And, obviously a year ago, taking it to the extreme, watching how those same members of the media can have just an enormous influence over decision-making by a college football committee, as well as, television and what they are able to do. You don't have to worry about that here in college basketball. This game's going to get played tonight. A lot of people complain about the officiating between Connecticut and Florida. We saw what Danny Hurley said. He's retracted those statements. We saw what the SID did to the member of the media who filmed Billy Donovan's comments. Depending on which side, I have mentioned it all week because I hate bringing up the officials. I do. A lot of people thought that played a factor into that game. I hope it doesn't play a factor into tonight's game. I hope there's a winner and a loser and that we come back here tomorrow and we do discuss it. But nonetheless, that is that. And we're about 40-something minutes away, 45 minutes away from that matchup tonight between the Gators and the Maryland Terrapins. The Red Sox have won a 5-2 final in Texas. Let's come back. Let's get into this a little bit. Just a couple of nuggets on Major League Baseball. I do want to get to the NFL. John Shipley wrote something today that I thought was very interesting. If you haven't heard that, I'll share that with you. And we have more mock drafts, including one that really surprised me by CBS Sports. So we'll begin our second hour by diving into that as well.
I remember being in the backyard, getting the football and throwing it up and running and go catch it. And then I'd be like for the crowd, and that's what I wanted to do. And I got an opportunity to do it.
1010XL.
It's what you dream of.
Frank Frangie here. Experience professional grade at Nimnick Buick GMC. Home of the largest inventory of GMC Sierras in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. This month, save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500s or enjoy rates as low as 0% APR financing. Yes, 0%. You can't find deals like this anywhere else in Jacksonville. Shop 24/7 online at Nimnik Buick GMC or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town, setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
If golf is your thing, you'll want to check out the 2025 Hills Pass at Hidden Hills Golf Club. Unlimited golf, including golf car, and preferred tee times for just one low price. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to purchase your Hills Pass today.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
If you're heading to the Og or you're already part of the nation's oldest, don't forget to drop into Sunset Grill. For over 30 years, serving up great chowder, seafood, wings, and cold beer. Sunset Grill, somewhere on A1A, St. Augustine Beach.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Reclaim a pain-free life with Rebound Rehab. If you've been injured or simply feeling the effects of an active life, you can rely on Rebound Rehabilitation to get you back in the game. Sitting on the sidelines isn't any fun. Trust Rebound Rehab's team of trained physical therapists to get you back up to speed and feeling full again. Now more convenient than ever. 11 locations to serve you, including new offices in Riverside across from St. Vincent's, Point Meadows, and Middleburg. Just log on to reboundrehab.com to see all they've got to offer.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Spring pickleball, tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? Hurry, time is running out. March is almost over. You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Sign up at sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging? Spring is here, a time to renew. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, here to help you look and feel your best with minimal to no downtime. Rejuvenate your skin, strengthen your core, and sculpt your body with advanced face and body treatments designed to restore your youthful glow and confidence. Just in time for spring and summer. A healthier, more fit you starts now. Visit dermagnify.com and step into spring looking and feeling your best.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
We're about 40 minutes away from Florida Gators basketball. Tonight, the Maryland Terrapins. Florida favored by 6.5 points. And that's still a lot for me. Never been a big fan of course, I say this back in the days when I played. Never been a big fan of laying a lot of points. I've always liked the underdog. Not a big fan of money line because it's too much risk, but this may be a money line game if I was a Gator fan. I may lay the 275, which is a big wage, because if you win by a point or two, you're going to collect that $100. But the other side of it is Florida's been very successful this year, 26-10 against the spread. They're 0-2 so far in the NCAA tournament. And, I just think Maryland doesn't have the depth. They rely on the Crab Five, as they call them. And I honestly don't know a tremendous amount about the Maryland Terrapins, but it just feels like Florida got that bad one out of the way. Maryland got a bad one out of the way, but we'll see tonight. The big thing I'm looking at that I just can't get over is 50 field goal attempts from guards in their second round victory, only 13 from the big men. One huge discrepancy here, or really difference in this game, Dylan. The Gators are third in college basketball with 39.1 rebounds a game. Maryland is 70th in college basketball, 33 rebounds a game. I know you look at that, it only says 6, but hey, 6 rebounds can be enormous. We saw how important those offensive rebounds were for Florida when they won the game the other night.
I was about to say, Florida's done that all year, getting those second chance points. I mean, that big one at the end of the UConn game when Florida missed a free throw, got the rebound, put it back on a dunk. Those are huge, especially in games like this. I always look at the I don't know about you, when the end of a basketball game, especially if it's close, you look at what the difference is. Usually, I look at those second chance points or those offensive rebounds. They usually kind of tell you, they give you an edge for the team that usually wins.
A college basketball game can be tight for 38 and a half minutes. And if you don't watch the game and you look at the final score, it can be misleading if the team that's trailing is hoisting 3-point shots missing, and then they immediately foul and you go to the stripe and you make your shots. It can end up being a 7, 8, 9, 10-point difference in the outcome of a game, yet for 39 minutes, it was a one-possession basketball game. And that's, you usually don't see that in any other sport outside of hockey, where you get an empty net goals. We've seen situations this year where we've seen 2 empty net goals. I mean, 5-2 games, pulling the goalie, 6-2, and what have you. So that can be a little bit misleading, but that can also be the case both in the NBA and in college basketball. All right, we're going to get to the Jaguars here in just a minute. Let's look at this real quickly, though. I mean, crying out loud, it's opening day in Major League Baseball. We've got to give this a couple of minutes, and I know we have 162 of these, but the Red Sox are winner 5-2 today on the road in Texas. The Giants are winner in Cincinnati, where baseball always started, at Riverfront Stadium. That's gone final. Low-scoring game, 5-2, 6-4. So a couple of unders right there. Although off the check, maybe 10. It could have been 9, 9.5. The White Sox, an abysmal season a year ago. Benintendi with a 3-run home run. 8-1. They knock off the Angels. The Royals a loser at home. Guardians got it done 7-4. The Mets knock off the Astros 3-1. We saw the story with Cam Smith. I'm told he was going to be the starting right fielder. It was a pretty emotional story that came out yesterday. Let's see, Cam Smith today in his first ever Major League Baseball game, a base hit. So the kid out of Lake Worth with his first ever Major League hit. This is like one of the, I think I read, third fastest jump to Major League Baseball. This guy, I think, played in like 20 games in the minors. and, they moved Kyle Tucker to the Chicago Cubs, and he gets his first Major League Baseball hit today. Houston won it 3-1. Soto with a hit, hitting second in the lineup with Alonso behind him. For those of you who forget, Juan Soto is no longer with the Yankees. He has moved across the way to Queens, and the Mets do lose this game 3-1 today in Houston. The Yankees are a winner. That is a final. They knock off the Brewers 4-2. And what I think is totally obscure to have an interleague game to open up their Major League season. Judge with a knock and a ribby did not hit a home run, but the Yankees start off their season with a W. All right, other games that are ongoing. Philadelphia has just exploded here in the top half of the 10th inning. So extra innings, and they're up 7-3 now over the Washington Nationals. Let's see. Looks like Baum hit a home run in this game. Harper hit a home run as well. Bryce Harper did for the Philadelphia Phillies, another team to absolutely keep an eye on this year. Paul Skeens, all the talk about this young man. He got hit around a little bit. 5 1/3, 3 hits, 2 earned, struck out 7 through 94 pitches, and then they went to the bullpen. But that's a 4-4 ball game right now in Miami. So the Marlins and the Pirates on opening day, game still going on. Atlanta Braves fans, you have 3 outs because it is the San Diego Padres. They are up 7-4 against Atlanta. Chris Sale got the start. He only gave you 5 innings, 84 pitches, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, walked or struck out 7. Albies with a home run. When I was in Curacao about a month or so ago, there were a lot of billboards of him all over the place there in Curacao. It's a huge baseball country, so it was good to see. And let's see, the Padres, they do anything special here?
They had 4 runs in the 7th inning.
4 in the 7th. Okay. So they got to the Braves bullpen. Looks like Neris gave up 3 hits, 3 runs. This Murderers Row lineup, though, Tatis with 3 hits today. Arez, who could win the batting title yearly. Looks like Machado had a big day with a couple of ribbies. Yeah, Bogarts, it just goes on and on. So Major League Baseball underway. All right, finally, coming up tonight. And I saw that the Dodgers, they are the biggest favorite to win the World Series, percentage-wise, odds-wise is what I should say, since 2002. And I'll be interested in seeing this. As a matter of fact, they're getting underway right now. First pitch from Chavez Ravine. Detroit's in town, but they haven't announced the box score yet or the starting lineup. I'm hoping that both Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman are able to play in this game. Cubs at Diamondbacks tonight. A's at Mariners tonight. So there you go. I mentioned everything, I believe. If I didn't say the Orioles, they were a 12-2 winner in Toronto. I'm not going to do this every night, but I figured I'd give baseball just a couple of minutes during opening day. Again, this was a sensational sports day. You had this. You've got the Sweet 16, which is getting cranked up here this hour. You also have the Gators Pro Day. How about Desmond Watson? 6'6", 464 today. Put up the 225-pound barbells, a reported 36 times. Someone's going to take a flyer on this guy late, a 6th, 7th round pick, and just say, can we get this guy to be a space eater and really a snap count guy? I mean, can he give you 12, 15 plays a game?
Yeah, the thing is with him, he can't move. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure somebody will snatch him up on a practice squad. We do these mocks. At least I do one once a week. I haven't seen him being mocked anywhere in the 7th round. So,
yeah,
he'll go somewhere, and we'll see what he does in preseason in August.
I'm sure that there will be quite a few organizations that are just going to red flag it and say, no way. He is by far would be the heaviest player to ever play in the NFL at 464 pounds. But all it takes is one who looks at him as an ultimate project. And, I'm not saying this to be rude. I'm being serious. Can you get him to lose 75 pounds? Can you get him to lose 100 pounds? And can you put him in a program, not to say Florida didn't do the right thing, but get him in an NFL program with the right nutrition and the right food to eat and a little bit more professionalism and pressure around him where they can say, listen, if you do this, man, you have an opportunity to have yourself a decent career and get your life on track and make some money. Others may just say, this is no way. We're not even going to put forth that effort. Noticeable weight gain for Andre Sisco, a former Jaguar. We discussed it. Gabe Davis, heavy. We discussed it. We talk about guys where it looks like they've put on weight, and we're talking about 5, 7, 10 pounds. There's been enormous football players before. And what did the fridge weigh? The deal with the fridge, though, is the fridge could move. They handed him the ball at goal line. I don't have to tell you that about the 85 Bears, but when the refrigerator Perry could move. But there's been enormous defensive tackles. I remember Adams in Baltimore, and who was the gravedigger in Green Bay? The guy out of Alabama who they called the grave digger.
Not Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy, the running back. There's a guy who loves some food. But I'm trying to remember the defensive tackle. If you say the name, it'll absolutely come to me. Maybe one of our listeners knows. He played defensive tackle for the Green Bay Packers. And
come on, Gilbert Brown?
Yes. Where do they have him at?
Let's see, 340.
Yeah, that's
so
kind.
He's 340. The fridge was 335. And Jordan Davis, who plays for the Eagles from Georgia, weighs about 336.
Can you pull up the heaviest football players of all time? I'd just be amazed by this. If, who is listed as, because they clearly, and we talked about this with Mason Graham. We started talking about, different defensive tackles that just look like they weigh a lot heavier than they are actually listed.
All right, I got a couple for you.
What do you have?
All right, I got Jordan Mailata, the tackle for the Eagles, a 366. A lot of these guys, a couple of them are older. The heaviest one that we have here is Daniel Falle, Faallele.
Don't know
he
him.
He weighs 379.
Any former players? DTs.
This is Michael Jasper. Played for the Bills. He weighed in at 375. Ted Washington.
Oh, yeah.
375.
I remember when Ted Washington was rumored to come here as a free agent in circa 1997, maybe 1998.
Mekhi Becton's listed at 364. Evan Neal 350, and then it gets a lot smaller from there. So you have about 10 guys that weigh over 350.
Who is the former FAMU Rattler on the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys? He got pinched. Nate Newton just came to me. See, when you turn 50, you know what you want to say. It just takes a little while to go from the id to the super ego, the brain stem, everything else in the brain. And then sooner, it just takes a little bit of time. Nate Newton got popped for he had 10 Glad bags of dope back when dope was, still illegal. I don't know. Maybe it still is. I don't know.
Depends what state you're in.
Yeah, it depends where you're at. But do you have Nate Newton? Is he listed there? I mean, that was a big kid. He had to have been 340, 350 when he played. And again, we're talking about these weights. Desmond Watson is 6'6", 464. 464 pounds.
He was 335.
Okay.
according to Wikipedia.
What type of kid is Desmond Watson? Does he have a good personality?
Yeah.
You know anything about him?
Not really. I just know. I guess Napier really liked him because at the end of the bowl game, he got that carry against Tulane. But I mean, I think Florida tried to trim down his weight, and they just—I don't know if he didn't want to, or they just couldn't. So I mean, if they're going to try to trim, 50 to 70 pounds of him in the NFL, I mean, I guess good luck to him. But yeah, I mean, everything I've seen, he's a good kid. I don't think he's had any issues, with. I don't think he has an eating disorder or anything like that. So
I'm just saying, with a guy of that size, if he has athleticism, I mean, he could be a wrestler. He could do something with his career. We'll see. But I imagine right now his dream is to make it as an NFL player. Someone's going to take a shot at this guy. They are, but it's going to take a lot of effort. I mean, this man's going to need, a private nutritionalist, a private trainer. The ultimate project, right? Where the good news is the COVID rules are still in place when it comes to practice squad availability. You still have 16 spots, so you can put a guy on the roster, give him the league minimum if he is an undrafted free agent. He makes a couple $100,000 a year and tries to get in shape. It'll be an interesting one to follow here. The odds are that he's not going to make it. Those are just the odds. If so, you'd hear this guy being mentioned as, being a late round draft pick, but you just don't get that. All right, when we come back, Shipley, John Shipley wrote about something that was interesting today. I know I teased that, but I got off it because of baseball and Desmond Watson talk. Want to get into that, and also a very surprising CBS mock draft. If you didn't see it, good. I think you'll be very surprised when I tell you who they had the Jaguars selecting in the first round.
Your place for Jags news. Jacksonville Sports Superstation has the Jaguars covered. 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Top Dog Tavern is your gathering place for family and friends, offering something for everyone. Want a delicious meal served with a smile? We have you covered. Shareable appetizers, hot and crispy wings, juicy tavern burgers, fresh salads, plus a large craft beer selection. And there is nowhere better to watch all the big games than on our multiple TVs. Enjoy great food, cold drinks, and good times at Top Dog Tavern, located in Bartram Park off Old St. Augustine Road.
Jacksonville's summer heat is coming in fast. Is your AC ready to handle it? Or will it quit on you on the hottest day of the year, leaving you sweating and stuck with a huge repair bill? Duck Duck Air Conditioning is here to save the day with a free AC system inspection. Our expert techs will make recommendations to ensure your AC system is running in tip-top shape before the heat arrives. Call now, 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning, duckduckac.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group, 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser start the week by giving the ball to the best back in Duval.
And off, Fred Taylor.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins DUI defense firm and Monahan Jewelers on 1010XL.
What NFL stadium has been used the longest by an NFL team?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Green Bay's Lambeau Field has been used by the Packers since 1957, a span of over 60 years.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Oh, that's a lot of glitter paint.
Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
What does your dream backyard look like? Hey, it's Joe C. and my friends at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can design an outdoor kitchen layout custom built to your taste and lifestyle. You dream it, they can build it. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Visit cssoutdoor.com.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. That's right, Terminix it.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs. We've got motorcycles. We've got scooters. We even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
13 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the first game tonight. Alabama up 21-17 over BYU. How's your bracket? I have 13 out of 16 remaining. For what it's worth, the 4 games tonight, I do have Alabama advancing. I have Florida advancing. I have Duke advancing, so I can win those 3 games. I'm already out of it for the final game. I had Texas Tech against St. John's. Of course, it's Arkansas against Texas Tech. I had St. John's winning that game. So that is the final of the 4 games tonight, Texas Tech and Arkansas. That'll tip off at 10:09. That'll follow up the Gator basketball game, which is expected to get underway in about 15 to 20 minutes in San Francisco. I read that this is like the second longest road trip in the history of the NCAA tournament for the Florida Gators. Let's see, air miles, Gainesville to San Francisco, 2,352 was the trip from Gainesville to San Francisco. All right, as promised, let's get to some Jags football here. John, I was looking earlier in the week. I I saw something, I think it was on CBS, where it had visits. And it lists teams who had prospects in visits. And I got to Jacksonville, it was nothing. And I was like, oh, here we go again. Lazy national media. It's Jacksonville. Just leave it alone. Nothing's been reported. Nothing's leaked from the new brass here in town. Well, John Shipley goes out and writes about it. They haven't brought anyone in. They're one of only 2 teams in the NFL that we're aware of right now to date that has not brought in a prospect. You can bring in as many as 30, and this was rare in L.A. Apparently, Les Snead only brought in 1 player a year ago with the Los Angeles Rams. And the thinking is that James Gladstone and company, they don't want to give anything away. They've done their homework. I know that they met with Abdul Carter, who is going to have his pro day tomorrow at Penn State. He's not going to work out. I know that they – actually, let me rephrase that. I was told that they interviewed Abdul Carter during the Combine. They did the same thing with Travis Hunter. They did the same thing with Quinn Ewers. They did the same thing with Tet McMillan. They met with Mason Graham. They met with quite a few corners, Quincy Riley, Dorian Strong. They met with a couple of safeties, Andrew Makuba. They met with the Nick Manwari, I think is how you pronounce his name, the guy with the sensational workout out of South Carolina. They met with a running back, Jordan James. There have been reported visits that did happen during the Combine, but they're not bringing them into Duval, which is interesting to me. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I just interested in how you feel about that. You want to know everything you can about who you're going to pick. Can you learn everything from the work that you've done? Can you learn everything from the conversations that you've had with the people who have been with these players in college? What the scouts had to say, your 15-minute interview during the Combine, all the other homework that you've done, the hours and hours that go into character-related, research. What type of human beings are these kids? It's really exhaustive, the work that goes into it. There's been times in my life where I've been asked, not by the Jacksonville Jaguars, not by this current regime, or at least I will say, but it was more of when I was working in Tallahassee. They just went about asking as many people as they can what they thought of. I remember one on Andre Wadsworth, which is, I guess we're out of the statute of limitations now when it comes to big number 85. A very lengthy conversation. And he was considered character-wise one of the greatest to ever come out of FSU. He was kind of a combination guy. He was inside when he had Renard Wilson and Peter Boulware. Then he went outside. Still couldn't get by the late Mo Collins in 97 in that game in the Swamp. But anyway, so no official visits. One of just 2 teams. I thought that was really surprising and an interesting early trend for Jacksonville. Doesn't it make sense to bring in Travis Hunter? Doesn't it make sense to bring in Mason Graham? Doesn't it make sense to bring in some of these top guys? I don't know. But anyway, apparently, at least as of now, 28 days out, that is not what the Jaguars have done. The latest mock draft comes from Josh Edwards. Does a nice job at CBS Sports. All right. And again, it threw me for a loop. Cam Ward went 1 to Tennessee. No surprise. Abdul Carter did not get out of Cleveland. He went 2. Shedeur Sanders. Told you, even after the signing of Russell Wilson, I still do not think this is going to have an effect on New York and Sanders if they believe he can play. If they don't believe he can play, they're going to try to get by with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. If they do believe he can play, they're still going to pull the trigger on this guy. In this latest mock draft by Josh Edwards, that is exactly what happened. And then it's Travis Hunter going 4 to the New England Patriots. So you get to 5, and you're thinking Mason Graham, right? Jalen Walker. For a second time now, I've seen this. I don't know if it was Mel Kiper who had it or someone at ESPN had it like a week, 2 weeks ago. But this is the second that I can think of now where Jalen Walker, an edge guy, very productive, out of Georgia, kind of a tweener though, right? And it's a position where it would appear that Jacksonville is solid with Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker. Do you go out and get Jalen Walker, who is very similar to those two, but, we still don't fully understand what type of defensive scheme Anthony Campanile is going to run, okay? But again, he's been considered a hybrid. He's been considered a tweener. Boy, at number 5, with all the other needs that this football team has, that really did surprise me. Then it's Mason Graham going right after him to the Raiders at 6. Armand Membu, we've talked an awful lot about, the tackle out of Missouri. Will Johnson, we've talked an awful lot about, the corner out of Michigan. Tet McMillan, we've talked an awful lot about, the wide receiver out of Arizona, all going right after Jacksonville at 7, 8, and 9, respectively. Did you see the video of Ashton Genty yesterday?
Yeah, a couple of his drills he did with the shirt off.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That was, there's a lot of times where it's like, it's just drills, and then there's like people that pop off. Like I remember 10 years ago, Myles Garrett, when he did his and he ran his 40, you're like, this guy he looks like an alien.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it was him. I watched him play a lot of ball this year. I voted for him. I did vote for him to win the Heisman. It's the first time I've been wrong in the Heisman in like 15 years. And I know Hunter won it. And Hunter was my guy for like ever. And what he did defines it, right? But the one aspect that I looked at was that if you put Travis Hunter at Boise State, they weren't making it to the college football playoff. Genty took him there. Genty got the ball 35-plus times a game. The whole world knew he was getting the ball, and he still set that record, broke Barry Sanders' record. I thought he became the best player in college football. If you put Genty over at Colorado, how much better would they be? I don't know. But Colorado was a non-factor in this thing. That's the way I defined it. And I still stand by that. When I look at Travis Hunter, as great as he is, if he went to Boise State, I don't believe Boise State would have made it as far as they did this year. Okay, a couple of other notables because it's a 3-round mock draft. You get to the second round, and Jacksonville gets their wide receiver in Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State, going 36. So here in this slate, you have an edge at 1 or a hybrid at 1 and Jalen Walker, and you get a wide receiver in the second round at number 36. I love the second round pick. I'm a little upside down on their first round pick. Round 3, 70th pick, defensive tackle. All right, Deion Walker out of Kentucky. So you get a hybrid, a defensive tackle, and a wide receiver with your top 3 picks. We know that the Jaguars also have another pick in the third round. They get a tackle out of Boston College, Ozzie Trapillo, going to the Jaguars with pick number 88. So I don't love it. I want at least 2 starters, if not 3. Again, they just added 10 free agents. How many starters did they add? 4, maybe 5. out of those 10, if you go out and you get an edge guy, you got to believe he's a starter, right? We don't know how you're going to line up that defense, right? Is it going to be a 4-3 where Jalen Walker is an outside linebacker and Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker are on the edge? Is it a 3-4 where you move Walker up as a DE in a 3-4 and you have Hines Allen on one side and Jalen Walker on the other side? I don't know. I don't know what type of defense they're gonna run, but I have to believe the 5th pick in the draft has to be a starter. At number 36, in Ibuka, yeah, same deal. Got to be a quick learner. And, Brian Thomas Jr., if you remember at the Miller Electric Center, he did not start off dazzling people in his first couple of practices. Day one got underway with him dropping a ball in the end zone. I remember it like it was yesterday. And then he dropped one on day 2 in the end zone. So, there has to be some patience involved with any rookie, but I would absolutely expect that Ibuka would be on the other side of Brian Thomas Jr. and Parker Washington as your starter at, the slot. And now Brown's going to have some say. They just gave him $10 million, and Gabe Davis is still there. But, yeah, I think you got a starter there in the second round with this particular pick. It's the third round that comes really interesting. I don't know about Walker. Does he fit into the plan? Again, we don't know what the defensive scheme is going to be. Mason Smith improved in his last 3 or 4 games here. Eric Armstead is a guy that you have to play because of the amount of money you've spent on him. He says he's going to move inside finally and play most of his snaps there. Maybe it's a rotational situation. And then the offensive lineman coming in at 88 and Trapillo, I just think it's open competition on that offensive line. I don't think those 5 spots are set right now in stone the way that a lot of people do. This is a second round. This is the second pick in the third round. That's a little bit more difficult grade-wise to make it as a starter as a rookie, certainly as opposed to, let's say, they took Will Campbell or they took Membu with the 5th overall pick, or even took an offensive lineman in the second round with the 36th pick. Have to believe that, the way that they're grading them. I mean, to put an offensive lineman in as a rookie that soon doesn't mean they won't develop and be a huge part of things, even, midway through the season or certainly by 2026. But, typically picks third round and on don't start on the offensive line as a rookie. So that is the very latest there. 32-28, Alabama up over BYU. Let's see, 8 minutes to go in the first half of this one. BYU just took it to the hoop. It's now 32-30. As we head to our final break of the night, this game, again, going on under 8 minutes to go. Maryland and Florida expected to start here within the next 5 minutes. Okay? The line has gone up from 6.5 to 7 to now 7.5. So a ton of late money coming in tonight on the Florida Gators. Your total is up to 156.5. The 2 late night games, Arizona and Duke. They'll play right there in Newark, New Jersey. That is where BYU and Alabama are playing. And then after the Florida-Maryland game, that game will start at 9:39 tonight on CBS. These games never start on time, especially the second wave. Arkansas and Texas Tech is scheduled to be your final game tonight at 10:09. That'll be in San Francisco. Arkansas, the only double-digit seed remaining in this tournament. Texas Tech favored by 5.5 in that matchup. For what it's worth, Duke favored by 9.5 points against Arizona. All right, let's put our final touches on this tonight. And certainly it's a great night for sports, whether you're a college basketball fan or a Major League Baseball fan. A sensational Thursday night. We'll take you up till 8 o'clock, then Hacker Nation will join you.
You can find 1010XL on any social media platform: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. At 1010XL.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. Johns Middle School Athletic Association. Spring pickleball, tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? Hurry, time is running out. March is almost over. You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Sign up at sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You're going to want to beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Hey, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Don't forget about your air ducts. Your air ducts, sort of like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them Dan or 1010XL sent you. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. Big shots that change your bracket. For the win. Listen all month for top March moments on 1010XL. Driven by Garber Auto Mall. Weekend Wiggle It.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy, you look worried.
Worried? I'm apoplectic!
You're what now?
I'm freaking out, Jason. Stupid water heater crapped out, so I haven't showered since Thursday. I start smelling a little funky, blow my big corporate job interview tomorrow. I'll end up settling for some dead-end career selling spatulas on the internet.
Dude, stay cool.
There's nothing cool about a cold shower, Jason. I mean, I know how that sounds, but...
Bueller Air and Plumbing can get a new water heater installed today. The day you call. You could be smelling fresh again by dinner time.
Wait, you can do that?
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Is that cooler?
Oh, yeah.
Well, life moves pretty fast. If you spend much more time smelling like this, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Well, it's quite a day. The official opening of Major League Baseball. Yeah, they did play a couple of games over in Tokyo. About 10 days ago, the Dodgers took them both, certainly over the Chicago Cubs. But with opening day and as well, the NCAA Sweet 16 underway, it has been quite a Thursday. Let me give you the very latest. Let's begin in college basketball. They have just tipped off Maryland and Florida. Right now, it is the under 16-minute timeout. So 15:51 remaining in the first half. Florida up 7-6 early on. Alabama up 38-32 over BYU. There's 5:57. Make that now 5:31 to go in the first half. There to follow, Arizona and Duke, and Arkansas and Texas Tech. Let me give you a couple of baseball scores. Check that Braves final. They ended up losing 7-4 tonight out in San Diego. Chris Sale started, gave up 2 in the first, 1 in the third, settled down, but only went 5 innings. They gave up 4 in the 7th. So the bullpen does not get the job done against a very talented team in San Diego. The Atlanta Braves start 0-1. The Red Sox a home winner. A road winner in Texas. The Yankees win at home. Some other finals in Major League Baseball. How about a 12 spot by the Orioles in Toronto? The Phillies in a bonus baseball game put up 4 runs in the top half of the 10th inning and win 7-3. The second-year phenom, Paul Skeens, is human. He goes 5 innings today, 5 1/3 officially, 3 hits, 2 runs, struck out 7. But they lose against the Florida Marlins. No decision, the Miami Marlins. No decision for Skeens, who, of course, won the Rookie of the Year and is projected by a lot of folks to win the Cy Young this year in the National League. A couple of other finals. Giants a winner in Cincinnati, 6-4. The White Sox knock off the Angels, 8-1 in Chicago. The Guardians win in Kansas City, 7-4. Houston, a 3-1 winner against the Mets. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Many saw the story involved in Houston with Cam Smith, who got his first Major League Baseball hit today. Of course, they brought in their parents to announce that he had actually made the roster. I thought it was a pretty cool situation. Houston, a winner, 3-1 today against the Mets. Soto did have 1 base hit in that game. So that basically does it for Major League Baseball. A couple of games tonight, including just underway in Los Angeles. It is Detroit in L.A., 1-0 Dodgers. Let me see if Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman are playing. They have both been laboring. And, they're both in the lineup tonight. How about that? So Ohtani, Betts, Hernandez, Freeman, 1 through 4, both playing, both missed the games in Tokyo during the Japan series. Cubs at Arizona later on tonight, and as well, we have 1 game ongoing outside of the Tigers and the Dodgers. That is the Minnesota Twins and the St. Louis Cardinals. Right now, bottom of the 7th, St. Louis up 4-3.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Packer Nation is here. He's going to keep you updated on this Gator basketball game. 9-8 early on Florida, 15-20 to go in the first half.
Yeah, this feels like more of a Gator tempo. You could tell pretty early in that UConn game that they were kind of playing it at that rugged Big East pace. There's a little more up and down here. Maryland, Derek Queen, their all-world freshman, just picked up a cheap foul like 40 feet from the basket. If he gets into foul trouble, they're cooked. So that's something to keep in mind. As, look, Maryland's battling, no doubt about that. We'll see what happens. 9-all with about 15 minutes to go in the first half.
Pat Kennedy earlier referred to him as a Zach Randolph.
Oh, I like that. Zach Randolph, great college player and a great NBA career. Right. I can definitely see that.
Portland, right?
Portland, Memphis. He played a lot of different places.
Yeah. And he was what? Duke? He was Kentucky, right? Zach Randolph?
He's got Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really good player. I like that comparison. Derek Queen, I haven't seen a lot of him before this week, but he's a very, very impressive player. He'll be a lottery pick. He'll be a one and done.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Interesting ball game here tonight. Again, we talked about it. The guards took 50 shots in the second round, only 13 by the big men. It looks like they've been trying to get the ball in. I've only had one eye on the screen, but it looks like they're trying to get the ball a little bit more inside early on tonight. So we shall see. So you have this, which is huge. You got the opening day in Major League Baseball, which is huge. What else you got coming?
Yeah, we'll certainly spend a lot of time on the Florida-Maryland game. We'll keep people updated. You mentioned opening day. I always like to share an opening day story about my grandfather from back in the day when it comes to Major League Baseball. I think every guy or girl, for that matter, has that story about a mom, a dad, a grandma, a grandpa that relates to baseball, and I like to share that on opening day. And then we're never going to get too far away from the Jaguars. Leon Searcy joins me tonight, and Gilbert Manzano of Sports Illustrated. He did his AFC free agent grades. Loved what the Jaguars did. Gave the Jaguars a B+. One of the only national guys, quite frankly, that really liked what the Jaguars did. We'll have Gilbert on right about the top of the 9 o'clock hour.
Wow, sounds good. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Rick.
There he goes. That is Hacker Nation. That's going to do it for us. Thank you to Pat Kennedy, former Florida State coach. Appreciate his time. Coming up tomorrow night, we'll hear from the Philly Godfather. All right, Florida does advance. We'll break down the Elite Eight. It'll be them against either Arkansas or Texas Tech. Certainly we'll have the very latest on the NCAA college basketball tournament and much more on the Jaguars as well. Thank you to Pat Kennedy tonight. Thank you to Dylan Denmark tonight. Right now, Gators up 12-9 over Maryland. 13:30 to go in the first half. Hacker will keep you updated on that game. My name's Rick Ballou. We'll talk again tomorrow at 6 o'clock.